And we're back after a brief break. It's an honor to have on Judge Jose Longoria, 214th District Court, Nueces County, right here with us. And you're watching South Texas Crossfire. Special thanks to our sponsors, River City Hospice, helping the elderly and those with Alzheimer's, cancer, liver problems, heart problems, any kind of problem. Give them a call, 882-5900. They help people and comfort them. And Vasquez Flores Home Health, especially you young ladies and men out there who need a job and want to take care of somebody, give them a call, 881-9922. We got to keep this economy moving. Give Priscilla Vasquez RN a call. Again, we are here with District Judge Jose Longoria, 214th District Court right here. And if you're just joining us, we were talking about the jury system and how he is helping to save taxpayer dollars, get those people and those cases moving, push the lawyers to put on their evidence, no dilly-dallying, and running a tight ship. And now we're going to get into it some more, and we're going to talk about some cases. Welcome back, Judge.
Thank you, Joe. Appreciate it.
Well, Your Honor, we've talked about the jury selection system. Now, let's talk about a typical day in Judge Jose Longoria's court, 214th District Court. How does your day begin?
Well, I get to the courthouse anywhere between 7 to 7:20 in the morning. I review what I'm going to have that day. If there were motions that were filed, they'll be reviewed the evening before. And I'm on the bench right at 8:30. I expect the lawyers to be ready to go. I understand that there's other courts that are running. Now, if you call and tell my court manager, I am in another court, I was called there at 8 o'clock, I'll wait for you. If you don't bother to call, then we do have some problems because the system is falling apart then. We're wasting taxpayers' money, we're wasting lawyers' money, we're wasting the DA's money, and my time is there. I've got to be there. Sometimes, I'm there a little late. I've been known to be there till 11 o'clock in the evening sometimes and return back at 7:15 the next morning. Depends on the case that we're trying and the number of motions that are filed. And you just got to run a tight ship. For instance, I had one case where there were a total of about 43 lawyers involved. It was a case of first impression. They wanted 6 weeks to try it. The way I resolved it, I said, you pick 1 or 2 lawyers, this side picks 1 or 2 lawyers, and we're going to go forward. And we finished it in 6 days.
So much for 6 weeks.
So much for 6 weeks. It was a verdict in favor of the plaintiffs. There was a lot of money involved. I understand that Wall Street, my name was mentioned as they didn't use the derogatory term of Mexican judge, but they said a little old judge in South Texas has affected the way this pharmaceutical company is working.
Well, then good, because, a lot of the time, that's where the rubber hits the road, where so many times we're seeing, I know that the conservatives in our community embrace you, especially on crime, because we're going to get into that. I don't care if you're Republican or Democrat. I've heard it again and again. This guy knows how to hear all the evidence. This judge knows, and if it warrants it and the jury decides, he will mete out the punishment that's just and tough. But be that as it may, I see that now we have almost on the civil side, we've come back to almost a very, very hard right kind of way of looking at things, and the little guy doesn't get his chance in court. So I'm glad to hear that the system, at least the plaintiff can put on their evidence in your court and all that. And let's talk about the civil briefly before we get into the criminal. I know everybody's very interested in that, but the civil court, the side of it, you not only hear the capital murder cases, child abuse case, but then you have to hear divorce, and you have to hear cases involving somebody maybe dying from the alleged negligence of a big company.
And that's the type of cases that we hear. That's why it's very important to have a judge there that's got the experience. And one that had, like I said, I had practiced for 23 years, all areas of law that I deal with today. And that helps me. And that has helped, because if I was not versed in the civil or the family law or the divorce, the child abuse, there's no way you can sit up there and rule. I've got an opponent right now that says, I have been a DA for 12 years. He has been in the district courtroom for about 3 months in 12 years. Has never been in a courtroom to try cases. So, do you really want to put somebody up there just because he's got an R in front of his name? Or do you want to put up there a judge that has the experience and has proven experience and has been fair and firm in his decisions?
Well, and South Texas politics is a strange animal, because there is a lot of crossover because Hispanics aren't, as the Republicans want to say, some of the ultra conservatives, that Hispanics are liberal. There's nothing liberal about Democrats in South Texas. Many of us are pro-lifers. Many of us are very conservative in our values, and many of us that sit on the bench are very tough on justice. So let's jump into that. For those who are saying your opponent might be tougher on crime, let's just put the brakes on that. Let's talk about child molesters. Let's talk about sexual abuse cases. Now, the police and the unions recently have said, well, maybe we'll endorse somebody because they say they're going to go our way on everything. You can't do that. I was disgusted to hear that. Can you elaborate on what your role as a judge is?
Well, there was a comment that was made when both of us were before the Police Officers Association, and he said, I will always rule in favor of the police.
Wow.
And I disagree. And I told them, and maybe they didn't like my answer. My answer was, I will rule according to the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the state of Texas. Well, that means everybody's equal.
Well, and I've seen it. Look, I've tried cases with you. I used to work with Snapka Law Firm, and then we went out, Mr. Rain and I went out on our own. And every time a policeman's in there, you always give great deference. You say, look, this guy's got to get back on the streets. What are you going to do? I've seen you tell lawyers that, hey, get this guy in and out, ask your questions, move it along.
Because it's our tax dollars again, Joe. If the policeman sits there for 8 hours waiting to testify, who's protecting the streets?
Exactly.
His job is to protect the streets. That's why I tell the prosecutor, you get your witnesses ready to go and put them on and put them off. And to particularly the police officers. A lot of times the police officers that are testifying have worked the night before because they're the ones out in the street in the evenings. And, they're tired. I want to get them in, get them out so they can go home, rest, and be ready to go the next day.
And on the other side, the person that's maybe unsophisticated with the system, some young boy who's gotten in trouble for the first time, the mother doesn't know how the court system comes in. She comes in carrying on or getting emotional. I mean, how do you handle that side of it?
You always have the abuelitas and the mothers there, and that's our heritage. That's the way it works. The abuela and the mother are always going to be there. Sometimes the fathers aren't there. Sometimes these poor guys don't know who their fathers are, and then that's not the important thing. The important thing is that they have the support of the family. The father might be at work, might not be able to be there, but you still have to look at the whole picture, look at the individual. I mean, yeah, he did break into a restaurant or something. What are the damages? Did he hurt anybody? Did he just break a window and try to grab whatever he could and ran? They caught him. We got to stop crime, obviously, but you can't send everybody to prison.
Oh, the overcrowding and the money, we've got to look at it from an economic standpoint.
I have a program that I run which is called the Divert Court.
I'm glad you brought that up.
It's the first offender drug offenders, nonviolent, that have a problem with drugs, and most of them are high school, college kids, the majority of them, within the ages of 18 to 22. And I bring them in every Friday afternoon. I take time off. I don't get paid extra for that. That's part of what I got to do for the community. We bring them in. We put them in treatment. They got to go to a therapist 3 times a week. If they miss their therapy, when they come in the next Friday, they're going to get some jail time. And eventually they learn. In a little over 2.5 years, I have graduated, and they go for about a year program. It's 9 months to a year program. I've graduated 150 of these kids that are back in school now, being progressive. I was at the HEB the other day, and this young lady said, "Hi, Judge Longoria, how are you?" And I said, she looked so young. I said, I can't picture who she is. You don't know me. I'm in the divert court. You gave me an opportunity. They send me to work. I'm working for HEB now, and they told me that pretty soon I can become a checker. Now make more money. She's off of drugs. She's progressing. Back in school.
And the court record with a divert, to be clear, those first-time offenders, nonviolent, what happens to their record? Do they have a permanent one?
Their record is completely erased. There's no record. They can go on, serve in the service, go to college, get married, vote, everything they want to do. Everything is worked out. If they have municipal court tickets, we have an arrangement with the city of Corpus Christi. If they finish the program, those tickets are erased. They don't have to pay them.
The high-profile cases, we've got a few minutes left, but the one thing I wanted to talk about is if a jury, for instance, and this is horrible because we all have our loved ones and we love our children, right? If a jury finds that a person did indeed molest or sexually harm a child, what is your view on sentencing on that? Because we're looking at obviously 5 to 99.
Well, for the child that was abused or molested, it's a life sentence, because for the rest of their life, it's going to be there in their minds. You know, I was abused. This is what happened. We see a case right now in Pennsylvania, the coach in Penn State.
Yes.
I mean, all these children are coming up. Well, we call them children. They're not 22, 25, 30, coming out and saying, this is what happened to me. For all these years, from the age of 10 to 30, it's been in the back of their mind. You have to take a case on an individual basis, determine the history of it. What was the damage that was done? Did a person touch a little girl through the outside of the clothes? Did he rape her? Did he do other terrible things to this child? You take a case on a case-by-case basis, and it's going to be a tough situation for the criminal.
And you know, and I guess people have asked this before, when you mete out a sentence that is, you know, what some people say, oh my gosh, 40 years or 50 years or 60 years, you know, that you have to mete out that sentence. I mean, once you reach that decision, how do you feel about it?
I forget it. I mean, I sentence, that's my job. I go home in the evening, I go to the health club, I work out, and I don't remember about it again. Sometimes I meet our Commissioner Joe Gonzalez for breakfast. He eats a taquito. I drink a cup of coffee with him.
There you go.
Yeah, because I'll get in trouble, and he knows my
hungry.
Well, he knows my sons, and he knows my doctor's son.
Oh, he's going to rip you off.
Yes, he will. So, you know, I just have to sit there and just drink coffee or water.
Well, I mean, and it's been a pleasure to have you on. We've got about a minute left. I always say for the judges and the lawyers that come here, we speak our language. The voters out there thinking, hey, this is a good judge, this is a tough judge, this is somebody who's been up there for 12 years now.
12 years on the bench.
Yes. So, and then before then, 2 decades and a half out in practice. The voters out there, they're going to pull that lever. I know, you know, we're not appointed in the state. You earn the right by campaigning up there and people believing in you. What do you tell them to give you yet another 4 years up there on the bench?
I've got the experience. I'm fair, but very firm. And I would ask for the vote of the public to continue to serve the community. I mean, you know, I can move on with my life, but I'd rather continue to serve and do the job that I'm doing now. If I didn't think I was doing a good job, I wouldn't run for re-election.
And I know how busy you are. You're not going to be wasting the taxpayers' dollars, so you need other people to campaign for you. And we are all there as far as in support of somebody who's going to be tough on crime and keep our cities safe. Well, call over here for more information if you want to help with the campaign, 887-8670, 887-8670 right here. And I can't wait for that website. Joe Longoria, Jose Longoria, the district judge, your district judge the last 12 years. And we've talked about some great topics. I hope you come out again after Labor Day.
Can I have one more second?
Oh, please.
I just want to say thank you to the family of Carlos Lopez and of course, his dad. Everybody knew his dad. Unfortunately, the last time we saw him was at the Robstown when he was laying there in state, you know. But Carlos has always been a good friend. The Lopez family has always provided for the community, and I just want to thank him publicly.
Yeah, thank you, Your Honor, and we want to have you back on because there might be some other. I know people out there. It's a rare privilege to have a judge, a sitting judge, that can come on and give us a snapshot of what they're doing for the community, especially the jurors watching the taxpayer dollars and the policemen not wasting their time so they can get back out on the beat and meeting out justice. So it's been an honor to have you on.
Thank you very much. Good luck to you.
Jose Longoria, District Court, 214th, Nueces County. But again, get involved, 214th District Court, Jose Longoria. This is Joe Flores, and we will be right back.